You're listening to phoenixradio.com.au. This is Spaced Out. You're here with Patrick. How are we all? We're back here again with our wonderful psychologist, Dr Rachel Hannam from North Brisbane Psychologists. How are we?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I am wonderful, as always. Good to be in the studio. So this week's topic is, what role does exercise and diet play within our mental health? And I'm sure it's a big one.
It does. Well, because you can't ignore your body and your health and expect to feel good in your mind. That just doesn't make sense, right? I think most of us have got at least some experience of noticing how our mental health is affected by lack of sleep, lack of exercise, and eating too much junk food. But, I mean, there are some specifics that if people are interested, they can be, really specific and mindful about. One of the things we know is that certain minerals play a big role in our mood and particularly in the development or prevention of depression. And these include calcium, iron, magnesium, and zinc, as well as B vitamins. So I know that a lot of my clients will take supplements and various, and manage their diet as a way of managing their mental health. And it's not a magic bullet, but it definitely supports whatever other lifestyle and cognitive changes we are making in order to look after our mental health.
Yep, that's awesome. So I've noticed in the past with myself, definitely going to gym has been something that's brought my mental health up. Great. I feel great after going to the gym, exercising. It's always talked about.
Yes.
But again, I think last time I spoke to you, we talked about accountability as well. So what can we do to make sure we do stick to these routines? Because convenience comes into it with a big one, and then we get lazy and we fall off our routine. Yeah,
me too. And exercise is huge in mental health. And if anyone's struggling with depression, they know how hard it is to get out there and get active, knowing that would help their depression, but then, that vicious cycle of, doing the very thing that makes their depression worse. So my heart goes out to those people. First of all, stop judging yourself, forgive yourself. It is hard to find the motivation and keep the willpower going. And in fact, it's so hard that I definitely don't expect anyone to be able to do it all by themselves. For myself, I got a personal trainer a number of years ago because, I knew that she was expecting me to show up. I was paying for it anyway, so it really forced me out of bed. But I don't see her anymore, and I know that's unaffordable for a lot of people, especially students. So organising to exercise with a friend, having exercise buddies. If you don't put it out send a big text message or email out to all your friends and say, I want an exercise buddy. Who's up for it? And then there's Facebook groups for walking groups and running groups. And, there's free ways to get exercise. You don't have to have the $1,000 for a gym membership. But if other people are expecting you, or if you have got some money and you've paid for it, then you're much more likely to keep yourself on track.
Yes, 100%. And the same goes for diet?
Same goes for diet. I mean, it's harder, isn't it? You can get diet coaches and people do programs and Noom and Jenny Craig and Light and Easy, but it's, for me, what everybody's different. So experiment. But for me, I need to see how food makes me feel. I've personally given up sugar, mainly for my mental health and digestive health and dental health because, sugar gives you cavities. And giving up sugar and most flour has actually stabilised my mood. And whenever I recommend it to clients and they actually do it, after about a month they report that a low sugar diet and a lower carb diet actually supports their mental health because they're not having the mood swings associated with leptin and insulin going up and down all day. It's stabilising to their mood. It's not the be-all and end-all, but when you cut out sugar, you end up eating more fruit and vegetables and healthier greens and meats and things like that. So I would say experiment with what makes you feel good because we've all eaten a bag of chips, corn chips. I've never done that. And feel like crap, right? So, yeah, I'd say experiment with how you feel after you eat and then decide you want to feel good and eat the things that make you feel good.
And I think it surprised me as well. When you start to cut out sugar and artificial sweeteners, you start to realise how sweet and delicious fruit and veggies are.
Exactly, yeah.
And then you feel great because it tastes good and it makes you feel good.
Totally. Things taste better.
So for someone who is looking to upgrade their diet and feel a bit better that way, because it is something that's quite easily achieved, where can they get information on this or where can they start? Because I know it can be a lot, quite overwhelming. You say, oh, I want to start a diet, I want to start eating healthier, but eating healthier could mean getting a salad from Macca's or some fruit and veg from
And
Woolies.
if you're going to go to Macca's, get that wrap or that salad if you can. There's so much out there. It's really hard to answer that question. For myself and my clients, I have found a low carb diet to be good for mental health. And because low carb cuts out, the enormous amounts of bread and pasta and chips and sugary foods that we eat, and then you have to substitute for, the chicken and the eggs and the greens and the avocados and the bananas and those sort of things. So there's lots of Facebook groups if you want to get support. Facebook's my platform, but I'm sure all the other platforms offer group support. There's meetup groups around ways of eating, keto, paleo, low carb. So definitely being part of an online or real group, or even just finding a friend who wants to do this with you and holding each other accountable. But don't make it a deprivation thing where you feel so, deprived. Make it a fun thing. Make it, focus on the positives and what you're gaining from changing your ways of eating.
Yep, 100%. And they always say, or I've always heard, the best diet is one that you can stick to.
Yes, 100%. That's right.
Just quickly before we go, I do want to quickly ask about cheat days. So it's a topic of a bit of controversy, whether you're trying to build muscle, lose fat, or even the mental health side of it. How important are cheat days, whether we should cut them out or maybe do include one or not? Or even cheat meals?
I only know for myself.
Yeah.
I have cheat moments. So it was my daughter's birthday last week. So, I had a bit of cake. I try to make low sugar, low carb sort of desserts and treats for myself so I don't feel deprived. But there's going to be moments, meal situations. Yeah, and before I eat the thing, I just make a commitment to myself that I'm just going to eat the smallest amount that I need to feel like I'm enjoying it and I'm satisfied. I'm not going to do it to comfort myself or mung out. I'm just wanting to enjoy it. And then I reset that night or the next day. We don't want to be puritanical about this, but we do want to kind of keep tracking our own feelings and our own behaviour and how our body feels. And so cheating moments to me can actually reinforce, I don't really feel great when I eat pizza. It was kind of yummy, but now I feel
Serves as a bit of a reminder, doesn't it?
And it reminds you, yeah.
Awesome. Well, that is wonderful to hear. Thank you so much again, Rachel, for coming in and speaking to us on this. It's been really insightful.
Thank you for having me.
And we will be back again with Dr. Rachel Hannam next week. So stay tuned for that right here on Spaced Out on phoenixradio.com.au.